Yeah. Now the next level of tests which we would be focusing on are for testing on the scale based data. Especially on the scale based data means we have observed that there could be so many parameters or so many dimensions to that data. Right? I compute the means, I compute the standard deviations. There are so many things I am computing about the particular data. So the tests also could be on multiple dimensions. As far as nominal data is concerned, the computation is only counting frequency. So even the testing was based on the frequencies itself. How many numbers from each of the categories, or are they uniformly distributed across all the categories? So it's purely associated with counting, right? Whereas when it comes to scale based data, apart from counting, we can do a lot of things. We can do averages, we can do standard deviations, all that. So there are different tests associated with different calculations which we are doing. So now for some time we will focus on the tests relating to the mean values or averages, right? So for that I'll create three tests, three different scenarios. You can use this testing of means procedure. Compare a sample average with a constant value. Like you make one assumption saying, let's say the average, based on the data I'm going to take, the average break diameter should be 322 millimeters. That's my assumption. Probably that's a theory. For this bike, I have to create or I have to manufacture brakes with a diameter of 322, or for this whatever instrument, I have to manufacture the bike brakes with an average diameter of 322 millimeters. Quality control uses this in a very immense manner because I know what is my output. Now I have to test whether I should reject this slot or accept this slot. Right? So that is one area where I can use. I know what is the value, average value that it should give. Right? Or probably you invest in the stock market, I'll give you 12% returns on an average. I know I'll give 12. Now, whether I'm giving 12 or not, you have to test it out by using the average. Or probably I am making one statement, Infosys gives a monthly returns of 1%. That's a statement I made. That's an assumption I made. I go with the assumption, which is what is the null hypothesis. Null is saying equality. So my null hypothesis is Infosys returns equal to 1%. Equality. That's my null hypothesis. Now I proceed with the null hypothesis. If someone wants to disagree with it, disprove it. For that, some test has to come into picture. Take the data, based on the data, do some calculation, but the data which you are taking is not full data, it's a sample data. Probably last 2 years, 3 years, some kind of data you have taken. It's a sample data. Now for that sample, based on the sample, you are trying to compute the average. It may or may not be the same as my assumed number. If I say I am saying 1%, but based on the sample you got 0.95%. So can you say 1% or you should not say 1%? That is what is the statistical test. Right? Statistically, is it same as 1 or is it different from 1? That is what is the statistical test that happens based on the standard deviation in the data, not just the average value. It creates a range out of that 0.95. Probably 1.1 to 0.8. That's the range. Then your 1 is also there in that range. which means I cannot reject your statement. So I'll accept your statement. If I can solidly reject your statement, then I'll say no, your statement is wrong. It cannot give 1% return. So that's where, especially when I have an average value, we'll take the examples, we'll see. When I have an average value compared with a constant, I can use this testing of the means. Similarly, compare the averages of two different samples. This is also a comparison of the averages. Let's say my statement is Infosys gives more returns than Wipro, right? But null should be equality. So my null will say Infosys returns equal to Wipro returns. I may have made a statement, but when you are establishing it in the form of null and alternate, equality should be the null. So Infosys returns equal to Wipro returns, or there is no difference between Infosys returns and Wipro returns. Now if I have to disprove it, I have to take some data of Infosys, I have to take some data of Wipro, calculate the averages on the samples, and based on that use a appropriate statistical test to make a generalized conclusion, right? So if my scenario is comparing the averages of two different data, in this case probably coming back to our telecom example, average spending behavior between males and females. So I'll treat males as a different data, females as a different data. I take males as a different data, females as a different data. I'll see what is the average spending by males, what is the average spending by females. If there is there a big difference between the averages statistically, right? So in those kind of cases we can use this. And the third scenario is compare the values before and after. A typical weight loss institute scenario. Probably a VLCC or someone, every day they give their ads in the newspaper before, after. Right? And probably making some statement saying, probably our treatment will reduce your loss by 15 kgs. Now, I need to really find out whether that statement is true or not. Right? In fact, I am taking the same example for that. The data which is there is more or less a similar example. Before and after, is there any kind of a reduction? So whenever it is not across two different data, but with the same data before and after, right? Probably another scenario is before recession, after recession. I want to talk about, let's say, the number of unemployed people every month. Nothing to do with time series, only one observation, before something and after something. Time series is more like, every month I collect the data and I identify the patterns and all that stuff. Here it has nothing to do with that. Before a particular event and after a particular event, only one observation. Drug trials, exactly go into it. Probably before the drug, right before the drug is inducted, probably these are the are probably if anesthesias. Let's say I am giving an anesthesia. Before the anesthesia is given, these are the sugar levels. After the anesthesia is given, these are the sugar levels. So probably my conclusion has to come out as, does anesthesia increase the blood sugar? Now, yes or no? There is one activity that is going on between the two periods, and is there any impact of that activity on this value? So that's where we use the third one. Any one specific activity, nothing to do with the time series, no series here, only two values. Before, after. Probably like another example, training. Before training, these are the marks scored by people. After training, the same test administered, these are the marks they have scored. So is training really effective? Probably sometimes some organizations do that. Before the training, conduct the same test without declaring the results and all. What they do is after the training is over, again administer the same test to see by what extent the training is successful, training is effective. So that before and after kind of scenarios, taking the same numbers before the actual treatment versus after the treatment can be tested through this. So these are the three typical tests of the averages which are very commonly used in the industry. And coming to SPSS, these are named as one sample t-test, or even the statistical names are also the same. This is called one sample t-test because I am taking one sample and comparing it with a constant value. And this is actually called as two sample t-test, or SPSS calls it independent sample t-test. T actually the person who was the team who was more involved in deriving it is actually the name is student. The person's name itself is student. It's called as student's t-test. So I mean, based on their name and all, they have come out with the word called T. And even the F test, there was a person, I think Flower or someone who was involved in inventing that test. So that's how the F has come out there. So they call F test there. So in this case, it is T. That test is more similar to T itself, more or less one and same. I'll highlight the difference, especially when we work with samples. We don't use that test too much. In fact, the T only is a replacement to Z. In reality,